So today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite builds to run. I want to say this is probably one of my go-to builds. That's why I like to call it one of the best PvE builds, because not only does it have amazing skill damage, it actually hits pretty hard with the setup I have right now. I'm running about 50% crit chance, I want to say almost 90% crit damage, and a ton of skill damage. As you guys can see, I can play this in solo or in group play. It doesn't really matter, and I have a lot of fun playing this build. Now I use this all the way up till legendary. I'm sorry, don't have any legendary gameplay, but you guys can definitely check some of my older videos and see the gameplay from those legendary missions, and you might have noticed I was running this build right here. Now this build hits really hard because of how this build is set up, and not only does it hit hard with its skills, this weapon right here hits hard too. So being able to stack some crit chance, crit damage on the builds, even stack some reds, really helps out. So what we'll do right now is we are going to get into the build, break it down for you, and hopefully you guys are ready. But before we do, I want to say thank you to our sponsor of this video, Advanced GG. If you guys don't know them, this has probably been one of my longest partners I've had on this channel, and I'm glad to be working with them. Their product is legit, and you can find out everything that's in their product on their website. They hold no secrets back. They want you to know what you guys are taking. Now, if you guys use skills at checkout, you guys will get 10% off your order. But yeah, let's get back into the build. The build that I have is running 900,000 armor. We are running 300,000 health. Well, a little bit more than 300,000 health. We have 2 reds, 1 blue, and 5 yellows. Now, we are using the technician class because that allows us to get that 6th yellow without having to put, you know, that many yellows on this build. And then we are pairing that up with the Momentum backpack. Now, this backpack is probably one of the most used backpacks for these builds that we want to call hybrids, right? These builds that we're allowed to stack some kind of armor, stack some kind of damage. But on this build, I'm able to put 2 reds and still hit 6 yellows, which is amazing, and even get that 1 blue. So you guys know we have weapon damage, armor, skill tier, and then I did put a crit hit chance mod on this backpack. Now, you guys already know how the backpack works. That's why getting 30% weapon damage, 30% skill efficiency, 3% armor regen is absolutely amazing. And since I do have that 1 blue, I'm able to run around and keep collecting those trophies, dodging and weaving, and it's perfectly fine. So yeah, that's how I have this bag set up. Just the main thing you guys need to remember, crit hit chance mod. Now we get into the mask. Well, the mask is going to be an Empress International. Now we're running a 3-piece, so this is going to give us that 10% skill health, 10% skill damage, and 10% skill efficiency. Remember, skill efficiency is skill damage, skill haste, status effects, all the goodies from skill. That is what you get out of skill efficiency. So look at this, a 3-piece is going to give us 20% skill damage. Now we do have 1 skill tier here. We have a 6% crit hit chance rolled on here. We have 10% skill damage, and then I did put another skill hit, crit hit chance mod. For our chest piece, we are running the Wyvern Wear chest piece. This is the one piece that I could definitely improve the build just a little bit. This gives me 10% skill damage. We have 1 skill tier as the core attribute. I have headshot damage. I would love to have crit hit damage, so that would increase my crit hit damage by 12%. Then we have skill damage, and then I put another crit hit chance mod because I'm trying to get as much crit hit chance on this build, so that way my weapon is hitting a little bit harder. Now we do have Kinetic Momentum on here, probably one of my favorite talents to run on skill builds. I feel like you're not too squishy like if you were running Glass Cannon, and it still puts out a lot of damage. But yeah, Kinetic Momentum is probably my go-to, and a lot of people's go-to for their skill builds. Now we get into the holster. The holster is going to be the 2nd piece of Empress International. So we have 1 skill tier on here. We have 9.4% skill damage, and then we have 6% crit hit chance. You can see we're stacking a lot of crit hit chance because the weapon itself has a little bit of crit hit damage, and I'll show you that in a second. For our knee pads, we have our 3rd piece of Empress. So we have skill tier, skill damage, and then another one with 6% crit hit chance. Now for the gloves, I decided to go with the Fenris gloves. This gives me that 10% assault rifle damage. Since my primary weapon is an assault rifle, we have 15% weapon damage, we have 10% skill damage, and then we have finally a 12% crit hit damage. So ideally, this is what you guys want to get. Now that we have this all set up, how much crit hit chance and crit hit damage do we have on the build? Well, before we get into that, let's take a look. We're using the capacitor This exotic rifle is just so good to use with your skill hybrid builds, even just running your skill builds, because you get that assault rifle, that damage to armor, that health damage, has really good RPM, has a nice mag size, but it has the talent where shooting enemies build stacks to a cap of 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage. After 5 seconds, stacks do decay by 1 second. But now for each yellow you have, right? Skill tier gain is 7.5% weapon damage. That's why that 92,000 total damage gets really improved. So that's why it's really good. A really good way to stack that amount of damage on your builds by just running this weapon right here. Now, one thing you should keep in mind is this weapon comes with a rail, so the optics that give you 10% crit hit chance. It has a muzzle slot that gives you 30% crit hit damage. That's why I'm able to sacrifice running crit hit damage on the builds and still get some pretty good crit hit damage. There's no other attachment that does that, and it comes on this exotic. We have 10% weapon handling and 11 plus rounds. So let's take a look at the stats. So if we go to the stats, 55% crit hit chance, 87% crit hit damage. And remember, I told you guys before I had that one headshot mod, if I move that, we could be up to what, 100% crit hit damage on this build. Very, very cool. We have 80% headshot damage, 10% armor damage, 9% health damage. And then, of course, you have the 20% reload speed, accuracy, stability, and so on. But yeah, what I really love about this build is the way I pair it up with these skills. We have the assault drone, and at 30 stack, it hits so hard, and that's why I really love it. And then every time I pick up the trophy after the 30 stack, it just stacks on top of that. So I do run the assault turret. So without the 30 stack, the base damage is 112,000. Remember, with the 30 stack, we get that 30% skill efficiency, so 30% skill damage. Plus, anytime we pick up a trophy after that, we get an additional 30% skill damage. Now, we go over here, look at this striker drone. It has 70,000 damage, and the same thing, once we have that 30% skill efficiency, plus every time we pick up a trophy, stacks on top of that. You guys can see why it hits so hard. And I feel like these two skills right here are great for overall any skill build in the game, for any content, because even those heavies that take no type of explosive damage, they always take some type of weapon damage or skill damage. So pairing that up with Kinetic Momentum works hand in hand. And this right here is probably one of my favorite builds to run, probably one of the best PvE builds I have, because I run this all the time when I want to do control points, when I want to do heroic content, when I want to do legendary content. This is my go-to, the one that I usually default to and the one that I really enjoy using. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the build. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I will see you guys in the next Division 2 video. But until then, nothing but skills out.